All right, welcome into Cleveland Browns Daily. I am Beau Bishop. Obviously, a big day in Berea, and for more on that, we send it to my partner, Nathan Zegura. Z, take it away.
Thanks, Beau. Yes, it is a big day, and as you guys can see on the stream, Big L luminaries with us right here in the studio. We have the president of the Haslam Sports Group and Browns partner, J.W. Johnson, and the chief brand officer from Cross Country Mortgages. We are sitting now in the Cross Country Mortgage campus. That's right. It's happening right now. Yeah. Chief Brand Officer Laura Suave and Laura J.W., thanks for being with us. What an exciting day. The Browns announcing for the first time in their 75-year history a naming rights deal to the facility, and it's so much more than that. But here we are in the Cross Country Mortgage campus, and Laura, I'm sure this is an exciting day for you and everybody at Cross Country Mortgage. It exciting for us too. So welcome.
Beyond exciting. We started very early this morning with the announcement in our headquarters with all of our employees. Your teams came out. The mascot was there. And throughout the country, all of our branches have been sharing on social media. I mean, this is a true American dream come true.
And it really is. Your owner, the CEO of the company, started this with some family members at Cleveland. As you said, just a kid from Maple Heights, started this company. Browns jerseys as a kid. He said his favorite Browns moment was when his son was born. He was telling me that Sunday night game or when they beat the Steelers. Tim Couch, alone those many years ago. Browns jerseys in the office. And now the name of his company, your company, on the Browns facility. That is the American dream. From a humble beginning, you put in the work. You guys are dedicated to getting it done. And I would say, well, and I know there's still so much more to come, you've gotten something done pretty darn special here.
Yeah, we're so excited. And as you mentioned, our CEO, Ron Lenhart, I mean, he's a Browns fan. He is the ultimate Browns.
Through and through. Let me tell you. I got a chance to talk to him. No bigger Browns fan maybe on the planet. So it's so cool.
So the fact that we could put this partnership together is just amazing. And just it gets back down to our values, too. I mean, he runs our business like a team sport. And it's all about every player on the team that has their expertise. But when we come together, we win every day. And so to be able to do this in such a big way with his hometown team is just amazing. It's tremendous.
And JW, why was this the right time? We've never had a name on this facility. Why now? Why Cross Country Mortgage?
Well, to your point, it's just, we're very lucky and fortunate to have Cross Country as a partner, and this campus will be incredible. As Laura said, we've got a long way to go and a lot of things we need to accomplish. I think on the eve of training camp, as we get going, just to be able to have this partner to kind of start getting the name on the building, to be able to have fans back here to showcase Cross Country Mortgage, all the people that we'll here have at training camp and then also at First Energy Stadium. It just worked out. And obviously, not having a partner for a long time, we're just excited to be able to work with a local brand, a local business, and obviously having Browns fans to boot that run the business. It's what a win-win situation. So we're just excited to have them here, and we look forward to a long-term partnership with them.
Yeah, and you guys have just announced that you're moving into a new building, new offices in downtown Cleveland. It is a Cleveland company, that Cleveland grit Ron was telling me about that really drives everything you do. But you guys are a national company, all 50 states, massive. But Cleveland still is the heartbeat, right?
It is the core, and it's literally that Cleveland grit that gets the job done every day. And we started here, Ron, with a couple family members and some friends. One tiny little office. We have the original pictures of his office, which is so funny to see now. And we've outgrown all the space that we're in. So we announced earlier this year that we are moving back into the Cleveland downtown area with a huge campus. So we're going to be not too far away from the players. Can't wait.
It's fantastic. And, one of the videos we saw from Cross Country Mortgage, you've got the Ozzie Newsome and the Jim Brown jerseys. Well, there's a Jim Brown office and a Jim Brown conference room now in the Cross Country Mortgage campus, which is a pretty neat little synergy. But I know this is a big part of what's going on. It's not all that's going on. And JW, we know that they're taking over the landing in the stadium. Tell us about that and what that's going to mean.
Yeah, just a great event space, obviously, for them and for them to be able to host their team and other people. Will have great signage in the stadium for everybody to see. So just a nice another element for them and for the building. And again, to be able to candidly have fans back in the building after
cannot wait.
A long time. So
time.
we're very excited to have that, and I think our fans and obviously the Cross Country Mortgage team will take advantage of the landing now, and it'll be great.
And Laura, we talked earlier, so many activations planned to
many
reach
fun
the fans.
things.
What do you have in store?
So in the landing space, that's going to be an awesome place for our partners. So we have a lot of realtor partners, a lot of our local loan officers that they'll be able to invite guests and our referral partners there, but also it's all about the fans. And we want to reach out into the community. We're going to have some awesome social activations where they can come and participate. And today, we mentioned earlier, it's day one. Right. Today was all about the announcement, but now the fun really begins in planning, and we have the whole season ahead of us.
It will be a marathon, I promise you.
It will be, yes.
A joyous marathon, a marathon of joy.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned it earlier. You mentioned the word values, and we talked about that earlier, and this is for both of you now. It's not often that you can have a shared passion, a shared vision, shared success, to bring a partnership together. But when you also have those shared values and the community, the Cleveland Browns Foundation,
Sure.
youth football, the veterans of our country, talking about, getting out in the community, school and education. I know these values are near and dear to the heart of Cross Country Mortgage as well. So that really, it becomes more than a partnership then, because you guys are all fighting and looking and trying to achieve the same goals.
Yeah, obviously we talk a lot here at the Browns about alignment, right? And I think now we are aligning ourselves with a great partner that do have the same values. And if you can do that, you're gonna win on and off the field. And I know our mission as the Browns is to be able to win and win consistently and provide great fan experience and give back to the community. And I think, not to speak for Laura and Cross Country, but I think your values are to be able to provide your customers with the best experience possible to have their dream of owning a home. And obviously our dream is to win championships. So it's a nice synergy there, and we're excited about it.
It's winning at our core, right? But it's about hard work and teamwork. Hard work and, teamwork are key, but giving back. So all of the success that's been achieved from going from a local Cleveland company to a national company in over 500 locations. It's about giving back to the community. And, Ron played football, and he wants those kids.
It looks like he could still play, by the way.
Yeah.
After I sat down with the CEO, Ron Leonard Jr. I think he could still get out there.
I think if they invited him out for a practice, he'd love it.
There's no doubt.
We might be able to make that happen.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I think he wants to actually practice,
Yeah.
JW. I think he doesn't want to just observe. He wants to be
throw him
a
in some
participant.
pads.
There we go.
Totally agree.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's that winning spirit that we both have, and, winning together. And we just can't wait to keep making great things happen.
And what's cool is you mentioned the word work. Well, when people come now to the Cross Country Mortgage campus, the word that they will see around this building more than any other is work. It was the first word when Kevin Stefanski was hired. On the very first PowerPoint slide he showed the team, work. You will see it everywhere here. The Browns are about that work. Cross Country Mortgage about the work. It's kind of a beautiful thing, and here we are, 75 years, an opportunity to do something special with this football team, and we're kicking it off with something special, something historic, really, for this facility.
And I think for us, it was so special to be part of the training campus, right? Because we have amazing training programs, and that's a big pillar in our office of training and always making sure people have the right tools to get the job done for our customers.
And that's why you guys have won an award for one of the best places to work year after year after year after year. It's that training, and all the eyes of the football world are going to be on the Cross Country Mortgage campus come training camp in a week. Let's go. Let's go.
Go
Very
Browns.
exciting. That's right. Go Browns. Well, what a great day, a historic day here. Laura, thank you so much for being with us. And
you're welcome. My pleasure. We're so excited.
So are we. We're thrilled. Yeah. JW, thanks so much for the time.
Absolutely,
and listen, if you want to hang out now for the next the next hour and 50 minutes, we'd love to have you here.
We'll see.
We'll see what we can do. All right. Yeah. Well, great day here in Berea, obviously. We are now in the Cross Country Mortgage campus. That's where we'll be coming to you for Cleveland Browns Daily every day, which is a really, really great thing, and hope to see all of you out here at the Cross Country Mortgage campus for training camp and beyond. For the Chief Branding Officer, for, of course, the President of the Haslam Sports Group, and the Browns partner, JW. Laura, thank you so much. This is very exciting. Let's go.
Let's go. Very excited.
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Beau, take it away.
Coming up in the second hour of the program, we'll do a little Ask CBD, have a little fun along the way. Off and running here on a Thursday edition, Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, welcome back into Cleveland Browns Daily. Beau Bishop from my friends at EOX Vantage. And EOX Vantage connects core systems that don't talk. From reporting and analytics to insight and decision-making, gain a more complete real-time picture of your business. Eliminate the Excel nightmares that you've experienced from business processes and visualize your important data all in one place. You can gain a real-time insight to make data-driven decisions on performance through role-based visualization dashboards. With EOX Vantage, you can benefit from lower overall costs, better alignment between technology and specific business needs, scalability, ease of deployment, and even management. EOX Vantage makes your data work smarter to move your business forward. You're about growth. Your software should be too. And with EOX Vantage, your company is going to scale effortlessly. Local presence, but global footprint, trusted by some of the world's biggest brands, and a 2021 Cleveland Plain Dealer Top Workplaces winner. Check them out, www.eoxvantage.com. As we get into we got right into the OBM talk. We got a big one here, Z, right out of the gates. Ohio Business Machine, preferred copy provider of your Cleveland Browns, for all the X's and O's for your office. Call 216-485-2000 or visit ohiobusinessmachines.com. And this from Tom Pelissaro here in the last 5 minutes. The NFL informed clubs that if a game cannot be rescheduled during the 18-week season in 2021 due to a COVID outbreak among unvaccinated players, the team with the outbreak will forfeit and be credited with a loss for playoff seeding per sources. And there you have it. You wonder if that was going to be the case. Some of the college conferences have said that that's the way that they're going to go, but now that is the way the NFL is going to go, according to Tom Pelissaro of the NFL Network.
And look, it's not a surprise. Everything that the NFL and the NFLPA have gotten together to do about this is to try to incentivize 100% of the players to get vaccinated. And this becomes now once more another reason why, if you are a player in a position battle or a roster battle with your for your team and you are not vaccinated and the person that you're competing with is vaccinated, that you're probably not going to get the spot, and they are. Here's another reason why, because if you are unvaccinated and you are part of an outbreak, your team's going to forfeit. That is a loss if they are not able to get the game in. So just one more. I think they're going through and they're saying, okay, what else can we do? How can we make sure we get this?
What else can we do?
That we can get this the way that we wanted, and that is one of them for sure.
Yeah, I mean, massive implications on that front. When we remember, of course, all of the things that were done. Of course, Tennessee Titans come first to mind of last year with the outbreaks and the amount of schedule. I remember the Pittsburgh Steelers didn't have a bye week, really, during the course of the season, and they lamented that a great deal. And so that is something that won't happen this time. You've been given plenty of warning, and you know where the NFL stands on this. And so if you are unvaccinated and there is an outbreak, you will forfeit games. I think that the tricky part of this, and this is just the other side of that coin, is vaccinated players who test positive. What do we do with them? That'll be something the NFL is going to have to address here in the coming weeks, because that will happen too. We're seeing that. Obviously, it's far more effective when you're vaccinated than when you're not in terms of COVID and all of that. That's all well done and it's out there. But just from the respect of, do we play with positive tested guys, or are we going to continue to test people who are vaccinated? All of those questions are going to be things that the NFL will have to deal with as it goes along in what is a very, very fluid situation. But this is an iron-fisted response to if you don't. And they've been about as iron-fisted as can be. I mean, there's no other way that you could incentivize other than how they have to this point on the vaccine. And to that end, 14 teams have at least 85% of their players vaccinated. In addition, more than 78% of players in the league have at least one shot of the COVID-19 vaccination. So those numbers are very, very good, that you're talking about almost 80% have received at least one shot of the COVID vaccine of the players in the league.
Yeah, very good. And, we'll find out in a week if the Browns are one of those 14 teams. And hopefully the Browns are, because it makes things significantly better for those teams. And I think it does give a competitive advantage, which we heard our quarterback talk about at his camp yesterday, as we see some of the luminaries just everywhere today. It's a big day in Berea, obviously.
What was it like for you? You were so distracted with all the luminaries almost like that it just took your breath away. There were so many luminaries.
There are a lot of luminaries. I would say I was distracted. I was just going off of old information, is what I would say. I was going off of old information that was never then recommunicated to me, that it was now new information.
It's interesting because usually one way I think you could argue of communication would be the email is a way of communication. correct? I think we would argue that.
It would be, but
would.
if you were given, in order to do the other portion of your job, 8 pages of notes to do that, I'm not going to see one little sentence when the last thing I saw was, hey, why don't I open it? I'll toss it. Sure, great. I think Beau opening, tossing, that's great. Let's do it.
Yeah, right.
And that's where I was at, because the first part of that did happen. So I'm thinking, here we are. We're rolling right along on the original plan. Why are we only going to do 90% of the original plan?
Follow all of it.
Right, and just some little teeny sentence here. Oh, Nathan will throw it to break. No, I like Beau's the host of the show. He's going to set up. And by the way, the huge B that he is, took it, gave you everything that's happening in hour 1, told you what's happening in hour number 2, because he's great.
Yes. I did have to plug in.
I did hear a little slight delay there, but nobody else would have known about.
It all worked.
Listen, my focus for that opening segment was putting together a tremendous interview with JW and Lauren.
Yeah,
I did that. Beau was going to be the buns. I was the burger.
You just had to put the ribbon on top.
You don't have one.
You forgot the ribbon.
Who serves a burger with only one bun? Nobody.
More people eat half
two
a
buns
bun than you can imagine.
But that's their choice to remove it.
Half a bun.
Wait a second. Stop. That's their choice to remove the second bun.
I was working as the prosecution in Gibby's case, and this is an instant. You right now were just Cosmo Kramer with the cough, and I was Jackie Childs, and you just undid. We're winning. We were going to win.
I don't believe you're winning.
And then Gibby just goes. Gibby just goes. More people than you might realize are ordering with just half a bun.
Outrageous. Outrageous.
That's how you get cafe lattes for life. By doing that, we were going to get all sorts of money. Cafe lattes for life, Gibby. That's all you're getting out of this. Oh, that's amazing. That's so funny.
Give it.
Oh, jeez. All right, so that's where you stand on those fronts. How about Vince Williams calling it a career at 31? Didn't see that coming a week. Well, they reported yesterday.
Yeah.
You saw the images of Roethlisberger. Looks like he's thinned down a little bit.
He looks the same to me as he did at reporting in 2020, to be honest with you.
You think?
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Like down 10 pounds, I think.
Okay, all right.
Maybe 15.
All right. Part of what made him special, though, was his size and his ability to shrug off would-be sackers. It's not like he's going to become a running quarterback anytime soon.
Right. I don't know if a lack of girth is going to change the arm issue that seems more finite.
Right. You could even argue there'd be less behind that arm.
Right. Yeah. So that's where you go on that. Well, it was cool to see. It's cool to see the Steelers report, the Cowboys as well. Jerry Jones, incredibly. Did you see some of those clips of how emotional he was?
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Yeah. Especially about Jimmy.
Really incredible. Yeah, and even for the first time took the blame.
He did,
which was stunning. I mean, after all these years, Jimmy Johnson is going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and right now is not in the Cowboys' Ring of Honor.
Outrageous. I still think that I did think it was interesting that, sometimes we have the benefit of, what we would call hindsight or the ability to be, reflective or retrospective.
Sure.
What I found fascinating was that clearly it bothered him. He clearly said, look, it was on me, but he still doesn't know why it didn't work out. He also said that. He's like, but I'm still not sure why this didn't work, but it has to do something with
why
me.
It didn't work what he did since, or why it didn't work between him and Jimmy.
That's what I took it as, the latter.
Yeah, that's how I took it as well, and I think it's pretty straightforward. You fired the GM. Who got all the guys? I mean, I think that's probably it. Once he's gone, then you're not as good as he was at identifying talent and acquiring it.
That's right.
I think that's the straight line. I mean, I could have, stayed school, but I could have probably got there for him on that front. The other thing that I think was remarkable from it was how emotional he got on what he would do to get back to the Super Bowl. And this speaks to how unique our game is, and our game, speaking of the NFL, how special it is, and one of the things that's so cool is money and want aren't enough. They aren't. You can have all the want in the world. You can want to spend all you want to spend, and because of the cap and because of the way the draft is, you are entitled to nothing. If rest assured, the Dallas Cowboys, I don't know where they sit now. If they're not the most valuable franchise in the world of sport, they're in the top 5. It's them, Real Madrid, Barcelona,
Sure.
the Yankees. I mean, those are the teams. And I think they're number one. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they're number one in the world. If not second to Real Madrid would be my guess. Those other teams, especially the European soccer teams that I mentioned, up until recently with financial fair play, could spend whatever they wanted.
Yep.
They could get all the players.
Yep.
Rest assured, if there were no salary cap, Jerry Jones would have went and got all the players. All of them.
Every single one. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your players under contract, I'll have them too.
Yeah. I'll give
That's
him
what he
more.
would have done. I
Yeah.
mean, yes. Like, that's what happens. That's what happens in world soccer. And so that's what would have happened here. But there's a safeguard against that. And it's a salary cap, and it's the draft. And because of that, you can try. No one, a lot of people want it. Jerry Jones has been the general manager of the Cowboys for what now, 25 years? Since
Yeah.
that's 94?
So, yeah, 27.
93, 94?
27, yeah.
Yeah. And when Jimmy left, because they won it with Switzer in 95, I want to say it was after 94 they fired Jimmy. And you think about all of that time, he has worked pretty tirelessly to expand his brand and to try to do – I mean, they've paid quarterbacks, they've tried to get people, but there's only so much you can do because of the level playing field that we have in the NFL. And so smart matters more than the other things. That's really what matters most is smart and a little bit of luck. You got to have luck. You got to
Some
be
luck,
able to,
some
when
health.
it's your time to draft a quarterback, you have it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And that's the teams that are able to kind of capture that. And, they've had some bad luck. Romo bobbles the snap.
Yeah.
Des Bryant's
Oh, yeah.
ruled incomplete on a clear catch.
Right.
They've had some – you're right. It takes luck, some good players. They've had some very, very good teams. It's hard. It's hard to get Super Bowl. That's why – Go ahead.
I was just curious. Do you think that they have, in your view, since 95, at any point did you feel like they had one of the three best teams in the league or four? I don't think I do. I don't think they have.
I mean, I think of some of those teams that had, T.O., Marion Barber, like that era, when they had Marion the Barbarian, you had Romo, you had Witten, you had T.O., you had good defensive players. I want to say like early DeMarcus Ware, maybe. Was that in that era?
DeMarco Murray, would he have
DeMarco
been
Murray
before him? Well, no, because you went.
Barber was before
Okay,
him.
so this is their. Yeah, no, so you'll be surprised. So here are their records. So they won it in 95.
Yeah.
Okay, they went 12-4 in 95. They fired Jimmy Johnson after he won the Super Bowl in 93.
Okay.
So he wins the Super Bowl in 93. They fire him. They
Yep.
hire Barry Switzer. They go 12-4 the next year. They lose to the Niners in the conference championship game. Then the next year they go 12-4 and win the Super Bowl. Okay. They go 13-3 in 2007. That's the team you're talking about. So that has Marion Barber. That has T.O. That is a Tony Romo team in 2007 with Wade Phillips as your head coach. That team went 13-3. They
Okay.
went 12-4 in 2014 with DeMarco Murray and Romo and Des Bryant.
Yeah,
and they
that's
went 13-3
the Des
with
Bryant
Zeke and
catch.
Dak in 2016. Right.
That's when they were
This
good.
2007 team went 13-3. They lost in the divisional game
was
in 2007.
That was the Romo bobbled snap. They lost to Seattle.
Yeah, it could have been. Yeah, I was trying to see, when I looked back on that year in 2007, is that a year that I looked – because I don't recall them as, like, a team that I thought was the best in the NFL.
I'm pretty sure that was the year that they were either the year leading into that they were on Hard Knocks or right after that they were on Hard Knocks, and they were legit. Like, they were legit. That's what I was going to say. Mid-2000s, they had a year or two where they were really good, and then
07.
that 14 to 16 period.
Oh, you know why you don't remember them?
Why?
You want to know why you don't remember them? Well, the Colts went 13-3. The New England
went
Patriots were
undefeated.
16-0.
That's right, went undefeated that year.
Yeah.
But they were
The Green Bay Packers were 13-3. So there were three teams 13-3, and the Patriots went 16-0. So that's why you don't remember. You did, but in terms of why you didn't think of them as like, oh boy, they had the best team and they didn't get it done, it's because the Patriots went 16-0, and the team that won the Super Bowl was in their division.
and I bet they were the 2 seed in the NFC that year because if I'm not mistaken, the Giants, they were the one.
They were the 1. Green Bay was the 2.
Green Bay was the 2 because the Giants beat Green Bay that year on the way to that Super Bowl.
Yes. Yep. And the Seahawks would have. So somebody must have been upset somewhere.
Yeah. Interesting.
But anyway. Yeah. But that's it. That's why you don't, like when you think about the great, oh boy, they just missed it. Those type of things. So the Giants beat them in Dallas 21-17 in the second round.
Right.
So the Giants beat Tampa, then the Giants beat Dallas 21-17, then the Giants went to Green Bay and won 23-20, and then they beat the Patriots 17-14.
I had the Green Bay games, the order of that reversed, which is they were inverted.
Flipped.
But I remember that run. Yeah, I remember that run.
That's right. Oh, yeah. And they'll be. You saw them reporting, and it all starting to get real now. And our quarterbacks and rookies arrive on Sunday. We saw 6 at his camp yesterday, which is cool to see. And quarterbacks and rookies will be here in a couple of days, and we'll be ready to go, pal.
I can't wait. Obviously, there's just a lot of excitement now, and got to see some of the guys here. Some of the guys who are rehabbing or training are here, and you can just tell there's an excitement, a business-like attitude about it, and I can't wait to get out here and to know that a week from tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, that's the first training camp practice. I think. Do I have that right, Gibby? Am I right about that? A week from tomorrow?
Yeah, a week from tomorrow. Yep.
July 30th?
That's it.
Yeah, there'll be some stuff maybe as early as Wednesday next week, but it's an acclimation period.
Okay.
Next Friday, training camp practice numero uno officially to the fan base.
Week from tomorrow. Incredible how quickly it gets here.
Miles to go before we sleep.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that's going to be really interesting, and we saw this, although the draft was awfully exciting, it was great to have it here in the city. But I think the one thing that is going to be, for a long time in this organization, training camp, the draft, these things have been things that we looked forward to, almost it seems in some instances more than even the season, because you knew what the season would bring. This year, the season is the main course. Coming off of a 12-win playoff winning season from a year ago, you no doubt saw I know you're not hard of seeing the USA Today projections for our season. I'm sure you saw these.
Oh, boy.
The record. Oh, did you? Yeah, you're not hard of seeing. 13-4.
That's right.
Best record in football is the projection. So that's that's where you are, and so you kind of have. Well, these things are going to be awesome, and it's going to be great to see all you guys again. But the reality is that where you want to get to is Kansas City. Get me to Kansas City healthy.
Yep.
That's where I need to be. Is Kansas City healthy, because you're talking about a 17-week march. And it struck me and it hit me even as I saw, 13-4 in the standings and went, God, that's right. 13-3 doesn't do it. It is 13-4, and that an entire extra game that will be played. And so this training camp is going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be a lot to see what Kevin Stefanski tweaks and how much of that will be shown. But you're starting on second base this year, especially offensively, and so you're not starting from scratch. You're not walking into the batter's box. You're already there. You're standing on second. Defensively, it's a little more of a just getting into the box thing because of all the new faces, but I think there's so much familiarity with this defense from a lot of these guys, and because you've had a mini camp, you've had off season, you've had all those things, that even that will be warp speed, because this, my friends, it's a contender. Simply put, you're going to see a contender on the field next Friday. It really is that easy to say, and that's just where you're at.
I can't wait. Even getting into the next question that we'll get to on the other side of this break as we look at the 10 questions before training camp. This roster is so deep, and there are so many names There's so many talented players. It's going to be exciting, and they always iron sharpens iron. Well, you're going to get a lot of that. I mean, I think about the fronts, just in the trenches, the receivers, the DBs, even now these linebackers against our running backs and tight ends. It's just going to be fun. It's going to be it's going to be electric. I can't wait.
Yep.
I can't wait.
It is. It's going to Going to be a lot of fun. We will answer question number 9 of our 10 coming up next, which roster battle could produce the most surprises. We get into that coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Elk and Elk Serious Lawyers for serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO for a free case review. Elk and Elk is a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Before we get into your big questions for the day, question number 9. I want to make sure I'm not double dipping. No, I'm not. Have you guys Are you aware of the power coup that is being attempted in college football in the last 24 hours?
Okay, so how can because I'm sure on your other program you guys got this is a gift that's been bestowed upon you for
3 hours, just pure joy.
Pure joy.
Yeah. Oh.
How can we be fighting and whining so hard behind the scenes to get horns down banned, and the primary proliferator of horns down is, I'm guessing, Oklahoma. I could be going out on a limb with that, but that's my belief.
That's right.
But then behind the scenes, the two are working in cahoots to get into the SEC and leave the Big 12 altogether. How does this happen? Why does this happen? Help.
Money.
Well, that part. But then what are we worried about the horns down legislation in the Big 12 for?
It could have just been distraction, honestly. Like, it could have just been subterfuge for Big 12 Media Days. I mean, I think it's surprising that this came out. Rest assured, though, this would, if done, this would be incredibly dangerous for the Big 12. It would be or the Big 10, rather. It would be the extinction of the Big 12. Incredibly dangerous for the Big 10. Incredibly dangerous for Ohio State. Very, very dangerous, because now the kids that you would be recruiting against for in Texas, where they have had a great deal of success, the sales pitch on the other end of that from Texas and Oklahoma will be, this is the next best thing to the NFL. And more eyes watch this conference than anything else. Are you going to go up there and play against Rutgers and Maryland and Purdue and Illinois and Northwestern and Michigan State and Michigan and them? Or do you want to play Bama, LSU, Ole Miss,
Georgia,
Texas A&M, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee? You see, the difference is astronomical. The television rights on this, I think, would approach it probably wouldn't be as big as the NBA, because the NBA has so many games it can deliver. But on a per-game basis, it would, without question, be second only to the NFL. From a television rating standpoint, it would be number 2 to the NFL by a wide margin, and would start to squish anything else out. And they would then, at that point, control college sports. And so it is imperative that the Big Ten, they should have been on the call yesterday and said, what do we need to do? Are you interested in coming here? How can we entice you to come here? Because these are 2 of the 10 most important programs in the history of college football. Oklahoma is a top 4 or 5 most important program in the history of college football. And I think Texas is the most lucrative college football entity in the sport. So all of those things, they're all there. And it's an incredible power play. It really is.
So
it will completely change. If done, it will completely change the landscape of college sports, where football drives the bus.
If you're the Big Ten, though, at that point, don't you try to say, let's swap out Rutgers and Maryland for Oklahoma State and Texas Tech?
Well, that's valedictorian, a summer school situation, though.
Oklahoma State's
done
still
at that
a decent people in
but
the NFL.
But it ain't OU.
No,
it ain't OU. You're right. You would try to do that, but it would look as like such. I think, honestly, if this were to happen, the Big Ten would have to think in a much bigger view,
Notre Dame.
And they would have to go try and pilfer the Pac-12. They would have to go see if you could make a true nationwide conference, East and West. Merge with the Pac-12 and put you all in one conference and say, look, we cover the whole country. I think those type of big, bold strokes would be needed to combat this, because there's no answer. There's not a Notre Dame answer. There's not a Florida State, Clemson, Miami answer. None of those are answers to Oklahoma and Texas.
I almost think when you were talking Pac-12, I think you'd have to try to get it with the ACC. So you could have a league that's got Ohio State, it's got Clemson, it's got,
You got a lot of dead weight in there, though.
You do, but maybe you
got a lot of Duke, Wake, Georgia Tech.
You got to trim some of it.
I mean, Rutgers, Maryland, Purdue. You got a lot of dead weight, and the SEC doesn't have that dead weight. I mean, they don't have as much of it. They got Vandy.
Do you think that you?
But even their dead weight is Arkansas or Missouri, and they got a ton of guys in the league, and they got a ton of talent. So
do you think you would try to?
Their dead weight is viable.
Say, look, the SEC is a super conference. There are only going to be 2 super conferences. And say the next super conference, Big Ten's gone, Pac-12's gone, ACC is gone. You're either in the other super conference or you're not, and you just try to choose. Yeah. So it would be, you'd have Ohio State. You'd probably have Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan, Wisconsin. Maybe Michigan State stays in. You get Clemson, you get Notre Dame, you get USC, UCLA.
Florida State, Miami.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, Oregon, I think those are the type of broad strokes you'd have to do. And I still know, even if you did all of that, it's not what the SEC would have. It's not. It's not going to be as organized. It's not going to have the passion. It's not going to have the TV eyes. There's nobody in the Pac-12 that draws audience like certainly that Ohio State does, but even a lot of the schools in the SEC.
Let me ask you this.
And a lot of the ACCs are very regional. Go ahead.
Let me ask you this. There's no doubt in my mind that if Ohio State said, we want in the SEC, that they would be let in. So is that the play for Ohio State? Too bad for everybody else?
So, I think that Ohio State at this point has to think for themselves and worry about their own issues.
Yep.
They can't worry about aligning with a conference that is much more interested in talking about what it used to be than what it's going to be. So they need to, if you're Ohio State, you need to start saying what's important to us. And what's important to Ohio State is football. And so you need to make sure that, and this isn't something that's going to happen overnight, next year, but 10 years from now, do you want Ohio State to be as viable as it is now? Well, then I think bold measures are going to be required. And the Big Ten commissioner spoke today, and there was nothing in what he said to lead me to believe that he thinks that way. So it's an incredible power play. It's an incredible power play out of the SEC and out of two of the 10 most important programs in the history of college football. I think Texas is the best job in college football, and I think Oklahoma is a Mount Rushmore. You can't write the history of college football without Oklahoma. So that's what you're talking about. From a branding standpoint, it's hard to get more popular and bigger than those two are. Today's question, number 9 of 10, heading into Browns training camp in the 2021 season. Today's is this. Which roster battle could produce the most surprises? Okay. I honestly think there's kind of only one answer for this, and I'll take you through my thought, and I'm curious where you land on this.
You know where I'm going. I've already teased it 100 times. I think.
Oh, I haven't been paying attention.
Oh.
I was not paying attention. I'm sorry. I regret to inform you that I was not listening to that.
Don't follow me.
It's a bad job out of me. I don't follow you on. That's right. I don't follow you on social. So I don't think you can produce a surprise at anywhere really. There's nothing that would happen at linebacker that would be surprising to me other than things that are not possible. Like JOK not making the roster, and that's not possible. So, there's nothing that would surprise me. When you use the word surprise, there's nothing that would surprise me. The only position is defensive tackle. To me, that's the only one that would potentially have a surprise, and the surprise would be if the young guys are so good that the veterans are not needed. That would be the surprise. And even we've talked about it on the show, so I don't know if it would even be shocking. I'll tell you, and this is a good spot to be, Browns fans.
Yep.
It's hard to find a candidate for this. I don't know if it was easy for you. It's hard for me to find a candidate when you talk about somebody who's going to play downs of consequence.
You're exactly right, and that's where I landed, and that's what I've been teasing. I said I'm going to talk about this defensive tackle room in great detail at some point, and this is the one. And I said it's the room that's been most remade from the 2021 season is without a doubt the defensive tackle room, and the influx of both youthful and veteran talent has set the stage for a competition that could go in any number of directions. Of the 8 defensive tackles in camp, only Jordan Elliott played snaps for the Browns in 2020. That's it. That's the list. Sheldon Richardson is gone. Larry Ogunjobi is gone. Vincent Taylor is gone. Those are the guys who played for you in the trenches along with Elliott. Elliott's been tabbed by both coaches and front office personnel to have a major breakout in his second season and is expected to push for significant playing time. Veteran Andrew Billings is one of the biggest and strongest defensive tackles in the league, who's noted for his run-stopping and spacing abilities. Prior to opting out of the 2020 season, Billings started 30 of his last 32 games for the Cincinnati Bengals, and you'd have to say right now he's currently penciled in as a starter for the Browns in their base defense. Malik Jackson excelled for Joe Woods in Denver, went to Jacksonville, and was a monster in what was one of the most dominant defenses in the NFL. Went to the Pro Bowl. He's a Super Bowl champion. He's notched double-digit quarterback hits in 7 straight seasons and is regarded as one of the best interior pass rushers in the NFL. From the veteran standpoint, you also have Damian Square, who has managed to stay productive in this league since entering back in 2013. He's appeared in 91 career games with 24 starts. Sheldon Day, another veteran, 60 career games, 2 starts, spent time with the Browns in 2020. Those veterans are competing for roster spots and playing time with a trio of young, talented players. I'd already mentioned Elliott, so this is another trio. 4th-round pick Tommy Togiai, one of the strongest players in the draft, and a quick study of his tape reveals a deceptively quick penetrator who can get after the quarterback as well as dominate the point of attack in the run game. Could Togiai push for a starting spot immediately after an incredibly productive career at Ohio State? Something you and I talked about yesterday when we were saying, who could, for the rookies that could maybe make an impact. Something we had talked about, off cameras. Who's somebody that could maybe make an impact? There's Togiai. I think that's a big story. If Togiai pushes himself into the starting lineup, do you keep one of the veterans? And my guess that it would be Togiai trying to take the Billings spot in this defense. You also have undrafted free agent Marvin Wilson. He was expected to be a first-round pick in the 2021 draft, according to many early mocks. A variety of factors caused those projections to change. The Browns aggressively pursued him. He was one of the top defensive line recruits in the country. They offered him one of the most lucrative undrafted free agent deals in the NFL this season. Joe Woods was raving about Wilson. Said, we got a dog. And then finally, there's Malik Mcdowell, who was one of the most physically impressive players on the field this offseason. 6'6", he stands out with his size. Could be the most talented defensive tackle on the roster, frankly. This is a guy who probably would have been, were it not for issues, a top 10 pick in the 2017 draft. Instead, he falls to pick 35. Seattle takes him. He's never played a snap in the NFL for a variety of reasons. The Browns are giving him one last chance. From a talent standpoint, it's undeniable. If his focus is in the right place, could he end up as the biggest surprise of the 2021 Browns camp? And that's why there's so much talent. Yeah. So much is up in the air. No outcome would surprise me. Of 8 very talented players competing for likely 4 spots. So none of these players want to even have one off day in camp. Some of you've talked about the battles. You don't want to have an off day there. You want to have an off day in linebacker. You don't.
Nope.
The good news, I expect this room to exceed expectations when the games start to count because they will be talented and battle-hardened by the time September rolls around. But you could see one of the names that you have penciled in as a starter, probably I would say Billings more so than Jackson. If Togiai's like, nah, I can play, and I can not only hold up in the run game, I can get after the quarterback too.
Yeah.
This room could go any number of ways. You would say, if you were betting, the betting odds would be that your 4 defensive tackles would be Billings, Jackson, Togiai, and Elliott.
Yeah.
But who's to say McDowell? Who's to say Marvin Wilson? All Damian Square's done is just make rosters. He's played 64 straight games the last 4 years for the Chargers, San Diego and Los Angeles. He was part of the move. It could go any way.
Yeah, I mean, no, and that's it. And so and we've talked about this a lot, which is why even this isn't that much of a surprise, because none of this would be that surprising because we know the talent that's in that building, and we know the amount of talent that is in this rookie class at the position, and we know the pedigree of these players. And so even any combination of the 4, yeah, I mean, theoretically, if something outrageous happened, sure. Same thing at linebacker. Something outrageous could happen, but it's not likely. Right. And so even as you try to find, like, true surprises, even that's hard. It's hard. There's so much that is set on this roster, and I know we'll get into it next week, but in terms of how many roster spots are actually up for grabs, how many spots in the 2 deep are up for grabs, it's not many. It's a handful. It's 5. I mean, that's in the 2 deep, not even necessarily starting spots. So it's just an ultra-competitive, really good team, and one that just does not have a lot of holes or question marks.
No, and that's what's so fascinating, and that's why this position battle is one that could go, any number of ways. The people
anyway.
What's ironic about it is the 2 people that you would say, the only 2 people I would be absolutely floored if they're not on the final roster are Elliott and Togiai. Just floored, like,
I think that's
couldn't believe
fair.
it.
I would agree with you. Yep, that would be shocking if those 2 guys didn't make the roster. Agreed.
Either one, right. Those are the only 2 that I think are pretty much locks. Now, that's to say that I would feel comfortable with Malik Jackson and Penn, but if you said the young guys came in and everybody dominated, would it stun me? I'd be very surprised. But no, Billings, he opted out last year. we don't know. We haven't seen him play football in a while. So that would be, of the big names, that would seem to me to be the least surprising big name cut. But I also think Billings is unique, and if he is the Andrew Billings he was before, of course he makes this team.
Yeah.
But Malik McDowell or Marvin Wilson could end up forcing people's hands into doing who knows what, making it very difficult for Andrew Berry.
No, it could. It absolutely could, and that's why it's a tricky. Folks. By the way, tremendous problem to have. Tremendous problem to have. That so much is known.
If you remember, after free agency, and then the release of Sheldon Richardson, the only people that were on this route, you knew Billings was coming back, but for a while it was Billings, Elliott, and Sheldon Day got brought back, who was on our practice squad at the end of last year. That was it. We're like, who the heck is going to be in this defensive tackle room? And then all of a sudden, in a flurry, Malik Jackson come on down on a one-year deal. Togiai, you're drafted. Damian Square come on down. Marvin Wilson, undrafted free agent. We're giving Malik McDowell a chance. And now you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Quite the transformation.
Yeah, it is. Browns fans visit the Pro Shop, First Energy Stadium this weekend to see and buy exclusive 1946 collection merchandise, including the new 1946 jersey. Show your Browns mobile app at checkout. Get a limited edition poster with your purchase while supplies last. Fans will be granted access to a photo opportunity inside the bowl at First Energy Stadium. The Pro Shop is open daily, 10 to 5. Shop the collection before it's gone. And big news here, Monday we will be live at the Pro Shop from 1 to 3. So stop out, say hi. So when is this thing getting dropped? When's the jersey drop?
Interesting that you'd say that because it's July 24th.
So
what the
Saturday.
Teasers, they haven't really said what was dropping on July 24th. There were teasers that something was happening.
Well, I believe I just said it.
Well, that did
I'm
just
guessing
happen.
that this copy was approved.
Oh, it was approved.
Okay.
Yeah. I just read. I'm Ronnie Burgundy, kids.
That's right.
I read what's in front of me.
And with panache.
I read what's in front of me.
And flair.
Yeah.
To be fair.
So there you go. So that's exciting. So apparently you're going to see this thing and you can buy it on Saturday, according to the read.
Yeah. We'll be there Monday. All right.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Come say hi.
Please.
I look forward to it very much. We all do. Yeah, certainly. So much more to come here in the final hour of the program on a Thursday, including some interesting futures power rankings that we will get into. We'll do a little Ask CBD as well. Lots of fun here in the final hour. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, final hour here on a Thursday. It is summer. It is time to open your windows, let that fresh air in. Last night was a good night for it. If your windows won't open, you're in luck. The buy one, get one is back at Weather Seal Home Services. Buy one Ultra Seal window, get one Ultra Seal window free. Buy 5, get 5 free. There's no minimum or maximum. So you're going to replace your entire house of problem windows at one time. Weather Seal's Ultra Series windows are strong, durable, beautiful, easy to clean, and easy to open. And for the lowest monthly payments, all you have to do is ask my friends at Weather Seal about the exclusive 7-year zero-interest financing with the approved credit. Weather Seal, locally owned and a name you can trust. Call 877-WINDOWS or visit WeatherSealHomeservices.com. This is an interesting one. I look forward to this every year. It's the Futures Ranking. The idea from the guys at ESPN is project which NFL franchises are in the best shape for the next 3 seasons. So this season through 2023. They asked a panel of experts, including Jeremy Fowler, Louis Riddick, Seth Walder, and Field Yates, to rate each team's quarterback situation, remaining roster, drafting ability, front office, and coaching using this scale. 100, of course, is elite. 90 is an A. It's your standard grading scale. And all the way down to 50 being an F, disastrous. After averaging the results from the panels, each 5 categories weighted due to overall score. The roster was 30%, quarterback was 20%, draft 15, front office 15, coaching 20. The result is a comprehensive ranking based on how well each team is positioned for the future. The experts each wrote a blurb about the 32 teams hitting on biggest worries, stats, so forth, and so on. And that gets us to where we land on this list, which is number 5. And I think that's fine. I think we have a top 5 situation in the NFL. I think there's a couple of others that are similar to us, including Buffalo and Kansas City. In fact, those would be in this exercise, I would say only Kansas City is better off than us, just because of and mostly because of Mahomes. But I would say overall roster, us and Buffalo would be next, and then I would go on from there. That is not the way that this broke out, though, my friend. And there were a couple of surprises here for me.
There were definitely some surprises in this, and one for me, at least as it relates to our organization. I mean, Stefanski's the reigning coach of the year. And 11, you could say, for a guy after his first year, is a pretty good ranking. But it's coach of the year.
Right.
That's all. We have the number 2 overall roster minus the quarterback. Look, when you're at number 5 over the next 3 years, that means you are in the conversation to go to a Super Bowl for the next 3 years. That's all.
And win it.
That's all we want, right? To go to it and to win it. So we are in some pretty good company. I do think I'm surprised Baltimore's number 3. To be honest, I am. I would have thought, and to count on, I'm pretty sure Brady says he's playing 2 more years, as in this year and 1 more year.
Yes, that's what his trainer said, who I guess he's the witch doctor that would allow for it to happen. So, yeah, I mean, if he says 2 more years, I guess that's what it's going to be, barring injury.
So we're just saying, regardless, we don't even know who's quarterbacking the 3rd year, but we're good. And look,
nice Kyle Trask.
The Bucs are, that's right, the Bucs are number 1 overall roster minus the quarterback. They've got the top quarterback, or the second best quarterback. That puts them obviously in a pretty elite company. I will say the respect, though. How about this? Front office grade for the Browns, 2nd in the NFL.
Yeah.
2nd.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it's been
in the NFL.
To be fair, I mean, they're 2 years on the job, crushed 2 free agent classes, crushed 2 draft classes. I mean, I think that's incredibly heady. Who did they have number 1? Did they have Tampa Bay number 1?
No, Bills are 3. Baltimore is number 1.
Baltimore 1.
Baltimore's number 1 in draft and front office. I'm not even sure what that means.
They've done both of those things very well for 20 years. They've done really well for 20 years. I mean, they're certainly more proven. So in terms of that group has been together for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And so I'm fine with that. I do think that the Tampa Bay question is really tricky because I guess what they're saying is the 2 years of Tom Brady will be so good that they offset, what's going to come in year 3, right? The issue I have with that is that's saying, like, as great as Brady is, I don't know that I would say, like, going into this year, if I'm picking one quarterback for next year, I don't think I pick him second. I think the order would be a little bit different.
I agree with that. I think it would be quite different. It's a list. I like that it's only what they said 4 guys are involved in this. Only 4 analysts are
Yeah.
involved in it, so I like that.
Fowler, Riddick, Walder, Yates.
I like that. It is interesting that it feels from, the Browns, Bills, Ravens are pretty tightly bunched. You got the Chiefs and the Bucks kind of in their own stratosphere. And then there's, I think, a pretty big – it starts to drop in terms of where you see teams. The Rams draft they got 29th, and yet they're 7th overall, which I think is a pretty interesting one. But you start to see a little bit of
they don't
move.
draft.
They don't draft. They trade their picks. That's right. What about
Give them away.
the one? What did you think about this one? What do you think about the Patriots, number 8?
That is an incredible. I remember when I read that thinking that being shocked by it, and it seems like just an incredible amount of an overwhelming amount of respect for what has happened previously.
Yep.
But if you saw last year and you look at, I would say that they are one of the worst drafting teams. They can't draft a skill. When's the last skill position guy they hit on? How far back you got to go? Gronk,
yeah. You've gotten decent production out of guys like Stephen Ridley and Shane Vereen at times, and you got decent production out of Sony Michel at times. But you haven't had that guy for a long, long time. Not a long time at all. And I think that's one of the things that their drafting grade, given what they've done, it's pretty high, and their front office gets a pretty good pass as well. Because, like you said, think about all the first and second round receivers they've drafted over the years who have done nothing for them. Literally nothing.
Right. Nothing. No. Just in terms of, thank goodness they took Sony Michel, instead of Nick Chubb. Yeah. So that's a direct example of it. So it is very tricky to do these things. Your top 5 get to Super Bowls, win Super Bowls when you're in that category. I think this is a big high pressure year for Baltimore. I think like I said, I would have us 2 or 3. If you want to put Kansas City 1, fine. Then I would have us 2 or 3 with Buffalo and it's crazy, but all 3 are in the AFC. Those are all in really good spots. Another place that where's Miami on this list?
Hold, please. Let me jump down.
I'm curious about Miami. I'm curious about Denver. I'm curious about the places
Miami
that look like they.
15.
Go ahead.
15 Miami,
Okay.
16 Dallas, 17 Steelers, 18 Washington football team. How about this one? Arizona Cardinals 22.
Jeez. They have the quarterback. The other teams that you just mentioned there, other than Dallas, do not have the quarterback.
Broncos 24.
Miami and 20. See, their roster's better than 24. You parachute Deshaun Watson, Aaron Rodgers on that roster, it's a Super Bowl contender.
Las Vegas Raiders 28.
Well.
Okay, here's one that I take an immediate disagreement. Bengals 29.
Oh, that's not right. No, they got a quarterback. Now, you could question – they've actually drafted okay. They've spent in free agency. They are dangerous offensively. Dangerous. And they've got a franchise quarterback.
Right.
That's a remarkable one. But this speaks to the overwhelming thing. One other quick point before I get to the last point. This league is really good right now.
Great. Excellent.
It's really good. There aren't that many dog teams. Feels like Detroit is going to be a dog team, but they're going to be quarterback a guy who was in the Super Bowl 2 years ago, who was a former number 1 overall pick in the draft. A lot of people think that maybe the Eagles will be a dog team, but they've got some talent, certainly skill position talent. They just drafted the Heisman Trophy winner. Obviously, Houston is a dog, but everybody else, all the rest of the bad teams are pretty interesting, to say the least.
Yep.
So I think the league is really deep and really, really good. And from our perspective, for the people, I know you get this too, don't talk about how great we're going to be. This is the way that the world's talking about us. If you're 5 on this list, you're a team that can contend and win Super Bowls. If USA Today has you going 13-4, that's where they think the roster is. And that's the reality of this team and what's been built here over the last couple of years. Pro Football Focus picking the top 15 second-year players to become breakout stars. one of our guys makes the list. We will get into that coming up next. Ask CBD coming up at the bottom of the hour. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Summer should certainly be spent outside, grilling on the patio, sitting around the fire on a nice spur evening, putting your feet up, just enjoying the outdoors instead of sitting on that beat-up folding chair. How about real patio furniture that's going to last you for years? Northeast Factory Direct has outdoor sectionals, dining sets, fire pits, loungers. Right now, stop in, take one of their 3 stores in Cleveland. You take a picture with Flat Alex, and you get a chance to win a $500 gift card. You go to Cleveland, Euclid, Macedonia, pick one. They're all there. Just take Northeast Factory Direct on Facebook or Instagram to be entered into that drawing for the $500 gift card. Each store is stocked with the best deals on outdoor furniture. Stop in and check in for yourself. You're not going to be disappointed in the quality and certainly not the selection. You can shop it online, of course, anytime at northeastfactorydirect.com is the way that it sits on that front. Pro Football Focus picking the top 15 second-year players to become breakout stars. And our guy, Jedrick Wills, makes the list, number 7 on the list of breakout stars for the guys at PFF. Isn't it interesting, the partnership that PFF, by the way, has with ESPN?
It is interesting, and I like it. I like that their content.
I do too.
And it's what's even
more
interesting
because
about
there's an affiliation with NBC.
NBC, I was just going to say, right? You're basically ABC, and look, if you're PFF, it's just getting your your content in as many places as possible. So it's good for them. What I love about this is that when you come to this article at ESPN.com, the picture that you see at the top of it is someone who is not even listed, which is Tua. At least for me, when I pulled up this article, ranking the NFL second-year breakout candidates, 15 players who could become stars, the picture is of Tua. And then you go to the article.
Mine's Jerry Jeudy.
Your picture at the top. Then I get Jerry Jeudy in the Jerry Jeudy section. So mine is like a video, as you can see. Okay.
Oh, I see. Yes. The video at
right
the
under
top
the headline.
The video auto-played, and so I didn't see the image. But it was Tua. I see. It was Tua in that video. Was the video?
And he's not mentioned. He's not in the 15.
No.
So here's one. No. Joe Burrow's number 1 on this list. And yet his team is somehow going to be 29th over the next 3 years.
Right.
I don't think that's right. I like this list. Jerry Jeudy, Ezra Cleveland, number 3, I think interesting. Josh Uche, was he from Michigan? Am I making that up?
Right.
Yeah, he was.
I think so. I feel that seems right. Yeah.
Feels right. Jordan Brooks, Cameron Curl, and then our guy Jed Wills at number 7, followed by Kevin Dotson, the guard for the Steelers, at number 8. So Jedrick Wills, though, number 7, and you said it, he could make a massive leap this year, and I think he will.
Yeah, he could. Yeah, I think what's interesting about this list is, like, didn't Joe Burrow break out already? I mean, he just got hurt.
I guess because of the injury. I'm guessing the injury is why they're saying he didn't get to finish his season, so that's what it was. That's my guess. That's my guess there. How about this little stat, this little nugget in the Jedrick Wills one? Over the past 8 seasons, only 5 rookie tackles with at least 150 pass blocking snaps have produced a higher pass block grade than Wills' 79.4 mark. So over the past 8 seasons, he is the 6th best pass blocking rookie tackle that they've seen. Period.
Yeah.
And his run blocking, I do think it'll catch up. Some of that, will be footwork, but I do think he'll get there.
He's a guy who played right tackle, and he got moved to left in the NFL on a 12-win team, and you never ever once said, oh, man, if only we didn't have a rookie left tackle. I don't know how much more praise you can give a guy than that. I mean, that's real life, man, is what that is. That's live bullets, and he was never the problem. I mean, that's a pretty remarkable thing. I think a couple of guys on this list, I have a hard time seeing how they're going to break out, and Jerry Jeudy at number 2 is among them just because I don't believe in the quarterback situation there. I mean, if they play Teddy Two Gloves, I think he could have a year.
Yes.
But I don't see it with Locke.
Same. Look, just ask, Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore and Curtis Samuel if they were able to put up numbers with Teddy Bridgewater. The answer was yes. So I think that for Jeudy, that's a key part of this. I like Jeudy. I think that he's got a real chance. How about this stat? He led the league in targets that were incomplete due to quarterback error at 28. Bridgewater will be accurate. You turn 28 of those into 20 more catches. He has easy 70 catches over 1,000 yards and had a monster rookie season. No problem.
He's still the guy that anytime that there's like a clip of him running routes against human beings at like some sort of high school football camp, that you just marvel at what he's capable of.
Yeah, he looks pretty darn impressive.
Right.
Pretty good.
Yeah. And the NFL has changed a lot, and they have Ruggs on this list. I think that's kind of a mess in Las Vegas with the Raiders. He didn't do much last year. He was another one of those guys that, they kind of took maybe a little ahead of where people projected. They've done that a lot there. Adam Troutman in New Orleans at tight end.
I guess
that's a belief in Jameis.
Yeah, but and then that other article, they had their quarterback situation, I think, was 29th in the league.
Right. Well, to be fair, this is PFF versus ESPN because it's PFF content on an ESPN site.
Yes.
So, I guess that's the truth of it. Jeff Okudah had a really, really rough rookie year with the Lions. I would imagine he's got to be better.
Though.
I mean, he was viewed by most people around the Ohio State program as being on the level with Lattimore, being on the level with Denzel, kind of viewed that way. So it was surprising, how much he struggled. But again, the injury is a big part of that.
He had the third worst grade for a rookie cornerback in the past 5 seasons. He was the worst rookie in last year of anybody who played 100 snaps. He's going to be better, and they think that getting Aaron Glenn, who was a DB by trade, was a former Browns DB coach here as well, running the defense, he thinks he's going to be much better in kind of what the Marshawn Lattimore role was when Glenn was the DB coach down in New Orleans. This list, though, I can't even give this a grade. If I were giving this a grade, I would give it incomplete because it's missing.
Should we start doing that?
It's missing Grant Delpit. Grant Delpit needs to be on this list.
Correct. The definition of breakout is a
Grant
guy
Delpit.
who did not play.
That's right.
That would be a guy who would be on there. Should that be something we start doing on the program?
Yeah.
Grading the lists?
I think it is. I like it. And we're fair.
I like it. I like what you've done there. I like that. We will take a look at the list, we'll break it down, and then we'll grade the viability of the list. So, because we had one earlier this week that was, frankly, a D- as it goes. I mean, there'd be a lot of Pedro red ink.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I was raised by a tough grader. I'll be tough, but I'll be fair. You'll see some red ink, and the more you see, the worse it is. That's like blood for your grade.
So that is good. But nice things about Jed, yeah, and obviously Grant is a guy that you believe in a lot. And again, he's just like you just put him in a box, wrap it with a nice big ribbon, and we'll see you in Kansas City, buddy. That's what I want to do with Grant Delpit. Hopefully that's the way that plays out. It is a Thursday, and it is time for a Mailbag Thursday. Get your questions in using the hashtag AskCBD. That is coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Problem if you're obsessing over gambling, it can be dangerous. Do something to take your mind off it. If you want some more tips, go to keepitfunohio.com for great ways to keep gambling fun. Time for a little Ask CBD. Hello, Gibby.
Yeah. Howdy, boys.
What's up, buddy?
Just juggling
What a
about
day.
50 things, so
No.
we can enjoy one day off.
No, Gibby, you're safe. You're safe.
He's safe, pal.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
safe. What a day, kids. By the way, Chamber of Commerce today. No?
Huh?
It's not a Chamber of Commerce day today?
I don't even.
The weather?
I don't know what's going on. What do you mean?
Is that a saying that I'm unfamiliar with? A beautiful day?
You've never heard that? A
No.
Chamber of Commerce day?
No.
No.
That's new to you both?
Yeah.
Yes.
Really?
We didn't talk
I
about
feel
that
like
when I
that's
was
a
growing up in
common
Montana.
phrase.
No.
Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, the idea being that this is a day to show off the town because it's gorgeous.
I like
I've
that.
never, ever heard that.
Me neither. But
Put
I
it on
like
a poll. Have you heard the phrase a Chamber of Commerce day?
Stand by.
It'll be your Ohio Lottery Keep It Fun poll.
I feel like that would be something. If I were to have heard it from a family member, it would have been my mom. I don't believe that I've ever heard it.
Have you ever heard the phrase Chamber of Commerce Day as it relates to the weather?
Yes. Well, it would relate. Yeah. Yeah.
I like it.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Stunning out there right now. Sun's out.
Guns might be out.
All right, hold on.
Gibby, throw out a question to us
Eh,
and then do that while we answer it.
why would I want to do that? Have you ever heard the phrase Chamber of Commerce Day? Commerce. C-O-M-M-E-R-C-E.
Commerce.
Yes.
It doesn't
like the
look.
Chamber
It
of
doesn't
Commerce.
look right. It's like one of those words I'm looking at it, and I'm like.
That
it
sounds
doesn't
like
look
it
right.
looks exactly right. I'm going to write it right now.
Ah.
All right.
Commerce, yeah, because it's just like if you would
See?
turn into commercial, it looks exactly right. Commerce,
Yeah, you have it
business.
All right.
Business.
Been a day. Business.
Been a day.
Been a day.
Already.
Been a week.
Going to be a big one over the weekend. Big Monday for us.
Yeah, for the chamber.
Not even.
Lots to be excited
Not even
about.
there yet. Miles to go before we sleep.
Yeah, come
we got
on
a
and see
BPA
us.
we got to record here in a little bit.
Miles and miles.
We have a lot of stuff that we're recording. I feel like we're all scheduled at 3 o'clock, Gibby.
You two at 3. BPA at 3:15.
Yeah.
Bring a friend.
Okay.
Let's go.
Jeez.
You know what they did here,
You
Bo?
would be a great sheriff of Nottingham.
Yep.
You'd be a great sheriff of
Yeah.
Nottingham.
Yeah, you would
You
be.
really would.
That line the other day,
Would've
like,
been good.
I,
So
that was one of my
duplicitous.
father's favorite movies. I knew right away where you were going.
Oh, good.
Would you rather have I could see Gibby in 3 roles: Sheriff of Nottingham, Little John, obviously.
Little John is the obvious. I mean, he would just thrive. I mean, Little John crushes the beer. He's
Yes.
so gregarious, a man of the party.
But I
Yes,
could
think
also see him
also-
Friar Tuck. Yes.
That's right. Yep.
Friar
And all
Tuck
three.
making the
And
ale.
it's-
Little comic
yep,
relief.
Making the ale.
yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys ever? Because I enjoy that movie too. It is particularly dark. A lot darker than you thought going into it. I remember as a kid.
Yeah.
'Cause it came out when I want to say I was like 10 or 11 or something like that, and being very excited. I was a big Robin Hood guy. But are you surprised in retrospect that Costner kind of just stopped doing the English accent at some point? It's like at the beginning, he's like, "Well, I think I'm going to try it," and then by like
He's like,
halfway, he's like, "Ah, the hell with it. I can't do it. I know that this film's already been shot. No one cares. I'm Kevin Costner. I'm playing Robin Hood.
We're gonna blow some things
I'll
up.
just do it.
Someone's gonna die at the end.
Yeah.
I'm in. I'm gonna be the hero.
Did you?
Right.
Did either of you ever watch? I'm trying to think of the name of the series. It was a Showtime series. Might have been called. If it was called Sherwood Forest, that doesn't sound right in my mind. I'm gonna find the name. But it was an old Robin Hood series that used to be on. It was on Showtime. That was tremendous.
Was it Nottingham?
It could have been. Could have been Nottingham. That sounds. I like that. I'm working with that.
And it was on Showtime? I wonder if it's on Showtime on demand.
It's
Is it
nowhere
appropriate for
anymore.
children?
I'm going to find it. Clannad did the Clannad Robin Hood music. The Hooded Man was this. That was the name of the show, though. It was Legend Robin of Sherwood. I think it was called Robin of Sherwood.
Okay.
Maybe not. Hold on.
And it was on Showtime, you're pretty
From
confident?
the TV series Robin of Sherwood. Yeah, it was called Robin of Sherwood. It was great. That was like when I was a kid growing up. That was old school. That was one of my favorite. Yeah, Robin of Sherwood. That's it. 100%. That's the guy. And they're
Okay,
a great Nottingham, a great Maid Marian.
Okay, let me pull this up. Okay, you can watch this
Where?
season 1 on Amazon Prime.
For free?
It's free with ads and free period with IMDb TV.
Wow, I'll watch that with ads. It's tremendous.
So this is like 1984.
Yes, yes.
Oh, it's 7+.
Yes.
I can watch it with the boys. Oh boy,
It's
what a
great.
gift you've given me on this Thursday.
It's great, and it's like old school. They filmed it on the real castles, real art. It's great. No special effects,
You
so
get
it's like
2 seasons,
real.
it looks like.
And the Sheriff of Nottingham is fantastic. And who was this guy? The Earl or the Duke? He had a nasty guy that was kind of like the Sheriff of Nottingham's right hand man.
Guy of Gisborne.
Guy of Gisborne is a real crud in this. Very punchable face and plays the part perfectly.
Yes.
Guy of
Punchable
Gisborne.
face.
Yes.
A punch your face.
I'm looking at oh my goodness, there's about the second season is 20 episodes.
This was my
The
favorite.
first is 6. This is a 26 episode arc.
Yeah,
I can watch this with the boys.
It's legit. Robert
What
Addy
a
is
gift.
the name of Guy of Gisborne. He is just detestable.
Wait a second. Oh no. Mark Addy was Robert Baratheon.
Yeah, it's also true. I wonder if they're related.
No. How many Addies that are actors? You feel like there should be.
He looks more like Paul Bettany, this Addy, which would not make him look like Robert Baratheon.
True. What's the first name on this human?
Robert, Robert, and then Addie.
Oh,
Wow,
I think the other one
died
was with a
young,
Y.
died at 43.
Oh no.
Sad.
Oh, you hate to see it. That's awful.
He was made to play Guy Gisborne, though. He's tremendous in it. Really, really good.
Boy, he is quite punchable. Yeah.
Yeah.
God rest his soul.
Yes. Yeah, Robin of Sherwood from 84 to 86 series regular, Sir Guy of Gisborne. Great.
Okay.
It's
Well, this is exciting.
and the theme, Clannad does it, and we all know Clannad does a lot of great songs, like the song from the I Will Find You scene in Last of the Mohicans, amongst many, many others. Tremendous.
Okay. I like it. I'm in.
At Food Snorkel, shocking. BGSU Gibbs and Nathan Zegura didn't know. That's a common saying.
I feel like it
Twitter,
is, but I didn't know. I don't want to.
Twitter would
Thursday.
disagree because 65% say they have never heard the phrase.
Oh.
34% said yes. 61 votes already in.
Oh.
Wow. It's wild.
I'm so excited. I've opened this up to you. It's just great.
Yeah, I'm going to watch it with the boys. That'll be fun.
You'll
I
like
love
it.
Robin Hood. I mean, it's such a Robin Hood, Zorro. Those are my people.
Oh,
Yeah.
little Zorro.
You're going to love this. I'm
Heroes
curious to
on horses.
see, because this was a formative show of my youth. My dad obviously was probably our age now. He loved it, so I wonder, I'm curious to see what you're going to think of it. I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be. It's like watching any sword and sorcery thing from that
Yes.
era. When you throw in, like Conan or any of those things, like there's certain things they just couldn't get done at that time, so you have to allow for that. But if it's well acted and well written, then it's fine. It's gonna be great.
Great. It will be. It's going to be fantastic. I'm very excited.
Yeah, I look forward to this.
All right. Let's get into the Twitter mailbag. You can
now.
tweet at the show at Browns_daily. Use the hashtag AskCBD. T-Mag, what was the best score ever shot in golf and what course for both of you?
Well, mine's a little less auspicious than yours. I shot an 84 once at the Golf Club of Dublin.
Nice track.
And I
Not
believe
too shabby.
Fun track. Fun little track.
Pretty sure my best is a 65 at Beachmont.
Jeez.
Par 71.
Different level.
Par 71.
Still, it's a 65.
The one that
How
I
about
can
you,
think
Gibby?
of off the top of my head that I'm the most proud of is I shot a 70 at Boulder Creek from
No, stop it.
not the
Listen,
tips, but
the
from
most you're
blacks.
most proud of, you're most proud of in seconds 8th is the St. Andrews score. That's
yeah,
the one.
that's probably true,
That's
yeah.
that's the
73
one
at
that
St.
when they
Andrews in the win,
say
finishing
here
birdie,
lie
birdie.
Nathan Zegura,
Yeah,
that's
you're right.
the one that you know.
I've
with all due
redacted.
respect
I've redacted
to the Northeast
Boulder Creek.
Ohio courses, which are wonderful, let's just get real for a second.
What I
and
liked
be
about-
honest with the real truth.
You're right. That is the real truth. What I liked about the Boulder round
Yeah.
is that I couldn't buttress my score with reachable par fives because they really don't have any reachable par fives at Boulder. There's one that is reachable, and that's it. The other ones are all like 640. So it's not birdies are much harder to come by than when you can, knock it onto a par 5 and 2. Nonetheless, you're right.
Yeah,
St.
mate.
Andrews for sure.
What was yours?
I've broken 90 a few times.
Yeah, man.
I'm down around that lower 90s depending on how I'm playing. I think I was at an 88 at Little Mountain.
Ooh, Gibby.
There you go.
So
Now, to be fair, as you've played the Golf Club of Dublin, most people who play, and I haven't played there in years. I used to play there every Friday. Public track. It was built in mimic of the courses across the pond, right? So in the Irish courses, and most people will say who have played it. And I'm curious if it's the case for you, Gibby, that they would play their best there. And there's reason. The fairways are enormous.
Right.
They're incredibly wide, and the greens are incredibly wide. And it's like I think you would have fun. You'd have a blast playing it. You really would. But you would score very, very well.
The greatest round of golf I've ever witnessed is you guys have both seen his game. The kid, when he shot his 76 at Tanglewood, he's never broken 80 before, since. Never. So no 79s on his resume. He went straight from an 80 right to a 76 and then back. But it was the most.
Wow.
And to do the
witness it.
final 2 holes with me providing commentary and videoing every shot while commentating on it, and sometimes he'd be about to hit it, and I'd get, oh, this is a pretty big chip here.
You were messing with him?
I wasn't messing with him. I was far away, but I was there was commentary going on.
But far enough that he could hear?
I mean, some of the stuff, there were interviews, there were mid-round interviews that were happening,
that's a lot of pressure.
and he nailed it. On 18, it was like a
What a human.
25-foot downhill side hill for the 76 Drano. It was epic. It was epic. Best round I've ever been associated with. And our friend Jacuzzi Ricky was there and had to leave after 9. Didn't even get to see it. Didn't even get to be there for the magic. Sad.
Let's see. More from the Twitter mailbag. Kevin Costa. Could you see 6 defensive tackles and 3 defensive ends?
No.
Based on the talent, depth, and versatility of defensive tackle and top-end talent for 3 DNs.
No. We want to play
Nope.
3 defensive ends a lot.
Yeah. It's going to require a few more
It's going to
bodies.
require many of them,
Yeah.
or more of them.
Chuck Dillon. Best fruit addition to bourbon, black cherries, or peach, fresh or frozen?
Black cherries. So I guess what he's saying with the cherry is like, in a cherry like in an old fashioned, like
Yeah,
it's
right.
like a, one of those. I think that you got to be careful with the peach because of the viscosity of a peach. And I don't. That's the thing that's hard. Like I have a peach old fashioned recipe, but it can get soupy. So you got to be real diligent with it because it's a really heavy syrup and the mulch can be thick. So I think that the safer bet always, there is a reason that when you order an old-fashioned or a Manhattan that a cherry is put in it. I prefer Luxardos, but, there's a lot out there. I think there's a reason for that. It's pretty timeless.
Yep. Agreed.
I don't like fruit in my drinks.
I don't really either, but I think like a good bourbon cherry, and there's some of those ones, you get like those good soaked cherries that already have a nice little something to them that you drop in an old fashioned or put on a toothpick in there. That's fine. That's fine. But I typically
I don't ever muddle. No muddling of fruit in the old fashioned. No. It's just a little dessert at the end.
Right.
And a veteran tip: if you do that in the end, that guy has absorbed some of the goodness, and so it's like one last little treat at the end of the dessert in a tumbler.
Hold on a second.
Yep.
This is from Cool Trav just now.
Okay. I saw this.
Did you see this? Did you see this, Gibbe?
No.
All right.
I did.
Did you guys start submitting clues to Jeopardy? Saw this last night. And the clue is my audition's over. Aaron Rodgers, the job is yours.
It's over.
This exclamation of enthusiasm or surprise is an interjection followed by a young male. Beau?
What is, oh boy?
Oh boy! Yes! Yes!
That's awesome. That's awesome. Great.
How great is that? Cool Trav.
Fantastic.
Cool Trav's like, Cool Trav
He's bringing it. Got some bringing it.
He's like
Yep.
the Curb Your Enthusiasm. Very high hit rate. Very high hit rate.
Very high. Yeah.
Oh boy.
It's a good job out of him. I hit my oldest with that. Bootsy and I played the two olders night before last in our basketball game, and I hit the oldest with a lot of, oh boy, Patey, you're in real trouble now,
Oh
as
boy.
we whipped him.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Barney tweets at the show, now that the offseason is almost over, what were your favorite moments? One Browns related, one in general.
The Browns related is the Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah available in the second, because of the pure joy of that was just extraordinary, just absolutely extraordinary, and so much fun. So that's the first one that comes to mind. I refuse to believe the offseason is over yet. So and it's been a bit of a tumultuous summer with the projects over here. So the best moment, I will say, have not happened yet.
Yeah, I would say my favorite moment for the Browns was just seeing everybody at minicamp, and seeing this collection of talent that we were going through. And, it was even 10 guys in. We're like, oh, yeah, Jadeveon Clowney's here, too. He's pretty darn good.
Oh, yeah. Remember him?
That guy's pretty good. So that's one of them. And then for my in general, I would have to say I sure do love Tubin. Tubin with the kids was a real treat. It really was.
No one's lost Tubin. There's nobody in the world who's been on a lake being pulled on a tube, unless you have a driver who doesn't know what they're doing and they're going too fast and the waves are too big, and then you can have separated shoulders. But as long as there's some common sense to it, it's an undefeated activity.
It is. It is. You have to also understand when to let yourself go. That you can't try to hold on through everything, because I could see a shoulder going with your arm could just go with the boat while you're sitting there, which would be no good.
That's right. Boats are powerful.
Quite.
Favorite thing about your hometown? I think it was Bobby Meacham.
Well, for me, it was just the expanse. Just being out on the Ponderosa, being able to look around. They say you haven't seen anything. You haven't lived until you've seen a Montana sky. Big sky country. The sky is huge. The mountains are huge.
Yep.
It's beautiful. You really feel like you're in your own place, your own reservation, your own world.
I used to have some really remarkable afternoons with my father growing up in the Bay Area, and he would take me over to Sausalito, and we would sit there in one of those outdoor cafes and just gaze out on the bay and all that we had conquered, and we would sip espresso together and talk about the day's activities and the very long leash that he would give me to lead my life, and that how I would stay within those parameters and never test him. Because he was so wise. And so that would be, though, when you say that, Gibby, it's funny, that is what comes to mind for me.
So serene.
Really well, that was my childhood.
Just serenity
very
now.
Understanding, very few demands.
Yeah.
Very few correcting. A lot of, you'll sort this out on your own, and I think
go
you'll turn out
live.
just fine. That was just live. Just live. No,
there weren't a lot of it wasn't like, oh.
No.
Yeah, not a lot of that.
No.
Very
no, it was fine, young prince of the city. Do what you like today. A lot of that. Come home when you wish.
I think we'll just end it at that. I think you guys have put a bow on it.
You said it, brother. Still so much more to come.
So much.
You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. If your game plan for this season includes buying or selling a home, Howard Hanna Real Estate Services has you covered. Visit howardhanna.com/GoBrowns today. And remember, join us Monday. We're live at the Pro Shop in celebration of the 75th anniversary collection being released over the weekend. So that will be fun. You can visit us from 1 to 3 down at the Pro Shop at First Energy Stadium. Have you seen? We were talking about the Robin Hoods, and we talked about the Costner one. Have you seen the other recent ones? There was one that Russell Crowe did.
I don't believe I
and then
ever
there's
watched
one
The
with,
Crow. I don't believe I ever watched that
Yeah.
one. Did you? Would you recommend it?
I did. I do remember seeing it, and I remember it being entirely forgettable.
And isn't
thinking
there a
he's
Jamie
far
Foxx
too
one,
old.
maybe?
Yeah, might have been. Well, he did. I think that might have been a King Arthur. Somebody did a King Arthur one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. There was another one because I get him confused sometimes. There was a King Arthur one that the guy from Sons of Anarchy was in that Guy Ritchie did. And then I think you're right. I think there was kind of like a modern Robin Hood thing that they tried to do. But it doesn't seem like they've landed the plane on it for a while. I wonder if those things will go away. They landed the
1 minute.
Zorro, but that's been 20 years ago with Antonio Banderas. And some of this other stuff, they've tried to bring it back, and they've not been able to land it.
I will say that I think the cartoon Robin Hood is an all-timer.
Oh. I think it's, oodalati, oodalati. Golly, what a day. I don't,
It's pretty flawless.
what do you want? It's fantastic.
Not much more than that.
No, it's all you need. Yeah, all you need is that. I will say that there's some long parts. There's a lot of despair that as a young child, and even the boys, we've watched it 1,000 times. It's probably 20 minutes too long. I want to say it's well over 2 hours.
30.
Long.
Really?
Hike. It's a long hike.
Hour
it should
and
be
23
like 90 minutes,
minutes.
and I think it's.
Says what it says.
Is that it?
Hour and 23 minutes. 1973 Disney.
Feels a lot longer.
Feels
than that.
longer than that. Well, then maybe
Second
they
only
did a
to the
great
Jungle
job.
Book.
Yes.
Second only to the Jungle Book of the old school Disney. We're back tomorrow with more fun. Grant Delpit will join Z for a little conversation tomorrow. You have that to look forward to, which is nice.